After the new update, the whole crafting gear system and calibration system have changed, which created a lot of questions. Is newly made gear better? Are the new calibrations better? Let's find out. The first thing you will notice is that you can no longer enhance your gear. That means you can't use the old calibration system anymore. Starting with armor. To craft armor, you still need the same materials and skins. The biggest change is that you no longer get stats from enhancing. Instead, your stats now come from the skins you use. The higher the quality of the skin, the higher the stats. For example, using a standard quality skin gives around 30% of the stats you can get from legendary skins. It's also worth mentioning that some skins have changed rarity. For example, Westland Wolf skin used to be epic, but now it's legendary, which makes it still a viable option after the update. Some people might ask, is crafting new armor necessary if I already have everything enhanced from the previous system? I checked all stats on all pieces, from helmet to shoes. When crafting in the new UI, sometimes the preview shows small differences. For example, pants may appear to have 2 less psi intensity and the same HP compared to old pants. However, after equipping them, there is no actual difference between freshly crafted pants and old pants enhanced to +6 with a maxed blueprint. The only real downside is if you craft new armor using lower quality skins. In that case, you will lose some stats, which makes non-legendary skins a bad choice if you care about stats more than skin effects. Changing fabrics is still only available on PvP servers. If you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments, and you're also welcome to join my Once Human Discord. The link is in the description. Now let's move on to weapons. Just like with armor, you can no longer enhance weapons. The calibration tab was moved into crafting materials, and now you can optionally select your calibration during crafting. This is the biggest change. Previously, weapons gained more damage from enhancing. Now, that damage increase was moved into calibrations. Calibrations were also revamped. They now give weapon damage, which is the base damage or attack stat, plus 1 additional stat. That stat can be critical damage, elemental damage, weak spot damage, or critical rate. You can no longer roll mixed stats like before, such as elemental damage with critical rate. Now, you always get 1 single stat, but at a higher value, essentially combining 2 old bonuses into 1. Unfortunately, old calibrations cannot be used to craft new weapons. So what can you do with old calibrations? You can disassemble them. Disassembling will always give you the same type of calibration, but with new stats that work in the new system. For example, disassembling a heavy assault rifle calibration will give you a new heavy assault rifle calibration. If you have old calibrations in Eternaland, you can transfer them for free and disassemble them. The same applies to old mod crates. Transferring them is free as well. Do not disassemble calibrations directly in Eternaland, because that will only give you Astral Sand, which is Eternaland currency, and not new calibrations. You can also still take your old weapons from Eternaland and use them as before. New calibrations can still be obtained the same way as before. Disassembling dropped weapons will always yield 1 calibration, with rarity depending on tier. Now let's compare old weapons to new weapons after the update. To test this, I compared 1 weapon crafted before the update and 1 crafted after the update. I tested this using Last Valor, both with rapid shot style. The secondary stat does not matter because we are only testing base damage. Both weapons were crafted with maxed blueprints. The new weapon was made with a nearly perfect roll on weapon damage. Both weapons use the same ammo and accessories, and no other gear or cradles were equipped to keep the test consistent. First, the new weapon. With weapon damage almost maxed at 49.8%, its base damage is 478 to the body and 287 shrapnel damage to the body. Now the old weapon. Its base damage is 447 and 268 shrapnel damage to the body. I honestly didn't expect a difference, but the difference is actually quite large. The new weapon is clearly stronger. When calculating the difference, it comes out to around 7% more damage in favor of the new weapon. And that's just base damage. Once you factor in bonuses from gear, mods, and cradles, and start multiplying everything, the gap becomes even bigger. Even in the Gear Stats tab, You can see the difference clearly. The new weapon has an attack value of 445, while the old weapon has 416. That's again about a 7% difference, which confirms the test results. Remember, weapon damage is mainly important for physical builds. Elemental builds get almost no benefit from the weapon damage stat on calibrations. One downside of the new system is that it's harder to see what was used on a weapon. Before, calibrations had their own clear window. Now, the stats are merged into the weapon's base stats. Also, new calibrations look the same as old ones, which makes it harder to know what to disassemble at first. This becomes less of an issue once you clean up your inventory. Upgrading blueprints is still very important. If you want more attack, psi intensity, or HP, you should still enhance your blueprints. One major benefit of the new system is cost. It is now much cheaper to make a complete gear set. You no longer need to enhance gear, which used to cost energy links and materials, and calibrating weapons is now free. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments or join my Discord. Thanks for watching.